If you consume a lot of beauty content, you probably feel pressure to spend a lot of money and buy a lot of products and keep up with the new launches and all of the sales, and it can be really overwhelming, especially when brands are creating a scarcity mindset like, hurry, this deal only lasts for 24 hours, or products are low in stock. And then you have influencers who are constantly shoving this messaging down your throat like, I'm obsessed, run, don't walk, you need this. And even though we consciously know that we don't actually need those products, it's really easy to lose sight of that. So this video, I wanted to talk about the beauty products you think you need, but probably don't. And the first product you think you need, but don't, is eye cream. Usually eye cream is just face cream in a tiny little bottle marked up at a higher price. If you think about it, eye creams are generally formulated to be more suitable for the sensitive eye area, but if your face cream were causing irritation on your eyes, there's a good chance it's causing irritation on your face as well. Or at least it has the potential to, and that can lead to chronic issues with your skin barrier, which can create fine lines and wrinkles. It can contribute to redness and acne, and I just don't really believe that you need a separate product to serve as an eye cream. In fact, a lot of companies have stated that they don't think an eye cream is necessary either. I know off the top of my head, Paula's Choice and Naturium have talked about that, and they said that they only eventually launched an eye cream because of the demand from consumers for that product, even though they felt like it wasn't necessary. And according to all my research, there's really nothing that a separate eye cream would do for your skin in terms of hydration, moisture, firming, fine lines, and wrinkles. You can just use whatever you're using for your face. Now, there are totally exceptions to every rule, and nothing in life is black and white. So my exception to this is when you're just starting out with retinol, I think it's really helpful to have a separate eye cream that just has a tiny, tiny, gentle amount of retinol that's specifically formulated for the eyes. I know that when I was starting out on Tret and Epiduo Forte, my face handled it just fine, but it was definitely too sensitive for my eye area, so I used the Neutrogena retinol eye cream instead. That's a very clear exception to my rule, but otherwise, it just doesn't really make sense to have a separate product. You have to spend more money, you have to have more products in your collection, and there's really no purpose. The next one I am so passionate about, and it's beauty supplements. According to doctors and nutritionists, there is zero reason why you should take a beauty supplement. First of all, supplements can't take the place of a nutritious diet, so let's just get that out of the way. But most importantly to me, the FDA doesn't regulate the supplement industry, which means a brand can put whatever claim they want on the bottle and not face consequences. And this is a product that you're ingesting into your body. For manufacturers, there's no need to show proof of safety or efficacy prior to sale. And since no prior approval is required, there's no centralized database of all the supplements on the market. I mean, really let that sink in. Something that you're putting into your body does not have to be regulated. The brand can claim whatever they want, and there's no central database of dietary supplements. I mean, that's a little concerning to me. According to Allure, the supplement market is estimated to be valued at a whopping $71.37 billion by 2028. And a recent survey found that over half of Americans took some form of a dietary supplement over the last 30 days. Supplements are such a deep, dark box of unknowns, says board-certified dermatologist Elizabeth K. Hale, MD, who is based in New York City. Regulations stop at the packaging. You have to list things like the ingredients, but you don't have to prove those ingredients make good on their claims. I mean, what? Do you know that? That's crazy. Now, vitamins to me are a little bit different. I have a collagen deficiency. It's a genetic disorder called EDS, and my body actually cannot take in nutrients from food the same way an able-bodied person would. So I'm actually prescribed vitamins and supplements by my doctor, but most nutritionists and doctors say that the average person doesn't need a supplement if they're just eating a regular balanced diet. I'm just gonna focus on beauty supplements here because that's what I feel is truly the most unnecessary. But aside from all of the risks, all of the misleading marketing, there's really generally no reason why you would need to ingest a beauty supplement. A CNBC article reported, research shows that many hair, skin, and nail supplements have much more biotin than our bodies need. Consuming too much biotin can alter test results that healthcare providers may order, like thyroid testing, cardiac testing, and potentially even vitamin D testing, says Dr. Rebecca Hartman, an assistant professor of dermatology at Harvard Medical School. Instead, you can eat foods like beans and dairy. So something that was really huge on TikTok recently was the Sleepy Girl mocktail, and so many people were making it. It was like tart cherry juice, a magnesium powder, because magnesium is supposed to help with sleep. But unless you have a magnesium deficiency or you're not getting enough magnesium from your diet, it's not really gonna do anything if you consume that. And in fact, having too much magnesium can cause damage. The doses in many supplements are many multiples beyond the daily recommended amount, says Ranella Hirsch, MD, a board-certified dermatologist. If you're deficient in a particular vitamin, which a doctor should confirm via blood work, Dr. Hirsch says supplementing it may be beneficial for you. But the reality reality is the need for that is rare, and most supplements in dermatology are loaded with ingredients that have no data proving them effective. So at best, beauty supplements can help some people, but are generally just a waste of your money and not doing much, and at worst can actually cause damage to your body. So why are we trusting the claims that these brands are making? Why are we putting things in our bodies that aren't regulated and aren't tested that could potentially do damage to us? It does not make sense to me. I will never, ever consume like a hair nail vitamin. You will never catch me doing that. On a lighter note, a product that I just don't think you need is tinted eyebrow gel. Now hear me out. Like I said, there's always an exception to a rule. For me personally, I feel like if you're applying a tinted eyebrow gel, it just gets so messy because you don't have control over it. I personally much prefer to use a brow pencil, and that's where I really fill in the sparse areas in my eyebrows, and then I set them with a clear gel. It just gives me the control I need without it getting messy, because when you're using a tinted eyebrow gel as your main source of color and volume for your brows, if you have one area in particular that's a bit sparse, you kind of like go over that a little bit, and by that point, the rest of the hairs around it just look a little too dark, and then it gets really messy. So I just don't think that tinted brow gels are really that beneficial for anyone unless you have the kind of brows that are perfectly even and all you need is just a little bit of color and a little bit of hold. Then in that case, I can totally see why it might be nice for you. But I feel like most of us have sparse areas in our brows where we need a little bit of shaping, we need a little bit of filling in, adding a little volume and color here and there. So I just really don't see the value in a tinted eyebrow gel. If anything, I think it's just a little bit annoying. The next beauty product you think you need but don't is a lip scrub. I truly do not understand why anybody would buy a lip scrub. I think that they are completely unnecessary. It's just another marketing ploy to get you to spend money, and I will die on this hill. Nobody needs a lip scrub. I get better results from just rubbing my finger over my lips to exfoliate them. But if you're not a ratchet person like I am, you can just take a washcloth and do it that way. I just don't understand the point of owning a separate lip scrub, especially when they can get so messy. I feel like the only time you can really use them is in the shower, because you can't do it when you have your makeup on. It gets all over your mouth, and there's always some type of oily component, so you can't do it when you're wearing makeup. And if you have a face scrub, you can just use your face scrub instead. There's truly no reason why you just need to own a separate product. And I would go as far as saying that no lip scrub can compare to the exfoliation that I get from a washcloth or my finger. Like truly, I have never noticed anything beneficial from a lip scrub. In fact, I just find that I get annoyed because they get so messy. Plus, if you really want one, mix a little coconut oil and a little sugar, slap it on those bad boys, and you're good to go. The next one's gonna be a little spicy in the comments. The beauty product you think you need but don't is expensive perfumes. First, hear me out. Let's talk about why luxury perfumes can be so expensive. And don't get me wrong, I love a luxury perfume. I'm not saying they're bad, but let's get to that in a second. Let's talk about ingredients. Expensive perfumes can have rare ingredients that can be really costly depending on the quality and the quantity needed. For example, Bulgarian roses are handpicked in May from a specific valley in Bulgaria, which is why they can be so expensive. And jasmine and saffron can cost over $300 for just a 2.4 ounce bottle. Then there's harvesting. The price of raw materials can depend on the scarcity or the process of which they're harvested. For example, some flowers only bloom once a year, and then that can really jack up the price. Then there's packaging, so whether you're paying for the brand name that's associated with it, or it's the cost of the materials that are actually going into the packaging because it's a more luxury product, that can really make it more expensive. There's also the production process, so the specific distillation can make it more expensive. And there's marketing costs. Marketing costs are absolutely bundled into the price of a product. For me, you will not see me buying a full-size bottle of a luxury perfume unless I can't get a sample of it or it doesn't have a travel option. I will always buy a travel size bottle over a full-size bottle of a luxury perfume because I just feel like I'm getting robbed. Like even some of my favorite perfumes that are my signature scents, when I go to buy that full-size bottle of that perfume, it hurts. I don't get enjoyment out of spending that kind of money. So it can be a little bit risky, but I really like to try before I buy. So I oftentimes end up just buying a ton of samples, which are generally around $4 online. And that way I can kind of try before I buy, and I know I'm not wasting my money. There are websites like Scent Split, Fragrances Line, Lucky Scent, The Perfumed Court. Basically, if you Google a perfume and sample, you'll probably find something that decants it and sells it. It's a little risky because they're not official retailers, but in my many years of buying perfume samples, there's only only been one that smelled different from the bottle. The second option is choosing a perfume house that takes inspiration from luxury perfumes and then offers them at a discounted price. And my favorite so far is Julianna's Perfume. I've tried a couple different brands and these are the ones that I like the best. Julianna's Perfume is the lovely sponsor of today's video. I did a lot of research online to make sure that people loved their products. They basically take inspiration from popular perfumes and create a similar blend of notes at a fraction of the price. They also create their own exclusive perfumes. All orders get free shipping and they include free samples of upcoming launches so that customers can try the products that are coming out soon. And that's the kind of company that I like spending my money on, a brand that knows that our hard-earned cash is precious and they respect that. Real quick, I'm gonna share my top 5 favorites. This is a Pore Italia. This is my #1 favorite and it is just vanilla. It's a straightforward gourmand, but it's slightly sweet, slightly spicy, and a little bit musky. This is one of their travel size options. My second favorite is Time for Romance. This is a full size bottle and it's dry, it's spicy, slightly sweet, and there's this big burst of cardamom, which I love because it's a cool spice. Amore Santal has this opening of coconut, vanilla, and sandalwood. And there's also something a little bit like clean, fresh, and shampoo-y about this, which I really like, especially for summer. Bliss is like if you mixed Ellis Brooklyn Myth with Diptyque L'Ombre dans l'eau. There's rose, some florals, musk, a kind of soapy, clean element to it, but also berries. Perfect for the summertime. And the one that I think is going to be the biggest crowd pleaser is White Wedding. It's really nice because it's white florals, which usually make me nauseous, but this doesn't. And none of these give me a headache, which is miraculous. You get creamy gourmand vanilla, but it's not too sweet, soft white florals and milk. It's really nice. I think this is gonna be everybody's favorite. The price of a full-size bottle depends on which one you're getting, but it's generally around $20, which is incredible. They sent me 20 samples and not a single one of them gave me a headache. So if you're sensitive to perfume like I am, I think this is a really good option. I'll leave my favorites linked in the description box below. So between a perfume house like Julianna's Perfume that offers such incredibly low prices to websites that have samples, I feel like you just don't need to spend your money on these full-size bottles of luxury perfumes. The next beauty product you think you need but don't are single ingredient skincare products. So a vitamin C serum and that's all it is, or just a hyaluronic acid serum, just peptides, something like that. I personally don't want to own multiple products if I can just get one product at a slightly higher price that does all of those same things. I have super sensitive skin to the point where 90% of skincare products burn the shit out of my face. And I find that the more I layer in a routine, the more likely I am to react to something. And even if it's just single ingredients, even if it's just like hyaluronic acid and peptides, things that aren't active ingredients that aren't supposed to irritate your routine, still, the more that I'm layering, the more likely I am to have a reaction. If your routine is so simple where you just want your cleanser, a hyaluronic acid serum, a moisturizer, and a sunscreen, then I can understand if that's really more of your jam. But I think for most of us who are consuming beauty content, we tend to prefer products that are a little bit more robust. We're a little bit more knowledgeable about ingredients. And so I feel that generally speaking, single ingredient skincare is just unnecessary. I would personally rather pay a little bit more money to streamline my routine rather than having a bunch of separate serums that just do one thing. So let's look at it from a cost perspective. For example, let's say you want hyaluronic acid, niacinamide, and peptides. Instead of getting 3 separate products that would probably at least total around $50, you could get one serum for around $35. So it actually can be more cost effective. Now, I do want to acknowledge that other people with sensitive skin feel that single ingredient skincare products are actually better for their sensitive skin because they feel like they have more of a sense of control over what they're putting on their face. But I have had the exact opposite experience. So generally speaking, I just think that single ingredient skincare is not very necessary. Oof. One that just, I do not understand. I do not understand is peel off lip tints. Why would I purchase a lip stain where I have to apply it all over my lips, wait for it to dry, peel it off, and it just comes off in little clumps? I'm like scrubbing to get it off. It's never even, it's messy, it takes a long time. I mean, I just do not see the appeal in that kind of product. I know that these are super trendy right now. I see them all over TikTok, but I just don't really understand why you would reach for a peel off lip tint versus something like the Fenty Poutsicle Hydrating lip stain that is comfortable, even, and you just apply it and go. You're good to go, that's it. I tried a really popular one. It was the Wonder Skin tint. You know, it's the one that looks like metallic blue and then you peel it off and it's a different color underneath and everyone's like, oh, influencer shock face, you know, that kind of thing. I tried that and it was so patchy. It also smelled horrifically floral. It was just a terrible experience all around. I was just left with like all these blue pieces all over my lip and I had to scrub it with a washcloth to get it off. And then I got all the rest of my makeup around my mouth messed up and I was like, this this is not for me. This is simply not for me. There are so many incredible lip stains out there that don't require so much work and all those extra steps, and they last a really long time as well. I'll leave my recent K-beauty video in the description box below. I reviewed a ton of lip stains from YesStyle. My friend Abby Young also just did a fantastic video comparing and ranking a ton, like 30 lip stains. It was phenomenal. So I'll leave that one in the description box too. She did a great job. You just can't convince me that a peel-off lip tint is worth the extra effort. Another beauty product you think you need but don't are nose pore strips. And now I get it. They're very fun and very satisfying, but they really don't do anything for your skin. They just kind of peel off the top layer, and they don't actually do anything to prevent other blackheads from forming. They can provide quick temporary relief to blackheads, but they only remove the top most visible part of it, and so you're not even really getting a deep clean anyways. Pore strips can also cause irritation because of the intense adhesive, so it's terrible if you have like rosacea, sensitive skin, eczema, anything like that. And when you're pulling off the nose strip, you're also pulling off the top layer of your epidermis. And that top layer of skin can be really important in helping to protect from outside irritations, bacteria, and water loss. According to self.com, with the pore strip, everything is surface level. While the strips may successfully remove the upper portions of dirt and oil, they're not going to deep clean enough to declog hardened plugs of oxidized sebum. You know, the blackheads you bought pore strips specifically to target in the first place. Nose pore strips are also single-use products, which I try to avoid as much as possible, so points off for that. Overall, they just potentially do more harm than good. They're wasteful, so you're better off just using a BHA serum. I don't care what anyone says, but you do not need shaving cream. I have been shaving my body with conditioner for years, and I know that they say that dulls the razor, but I haven't had any issues with it, and I've been doing it for basically my whole life. You just can't convince me that it is worth spending the money on a separate product for shaving cream when I could just use a conditioner or a creamy body wash. Maybe it's just my neurodivergence talking, but I really like a neat, clean, organized shower. I don't want a bunch of extra products in my shower if I don't have to have them, and so having a shaving cream is just totally unnecessary to me. I just don't want a lot of stuff in there while I'm trying to relax, you know? Now for this one, I'm going against the grain on beauty experts because they do say that having shaving cream can be more protective for your skin and it doesn't dull your razor as much. Like I said, I've been using conditioner in place of shaving cream for years, so I just don't think you need to spend your money on it. And the last beauty product you think you need but don't are cellulite and stretch mark creams. First and foremost, there's nothing wrong with cellulite or stretch marks. We all got them. Let's rock them. They are very normal, they are very common, and most of us feel like we have to fix them because of all of the intense photoshopping we see online. If you're unfamiliar with cellulite or stretch marks, let's talk about it a little bit. Cellulite forms when the connective tissues, which are made of collagen, between your muscle and skin squeeze fat cells towards your epidermis, creating a bumpy, dimpled appearance. And both cellulite and stretch marks are technically a type of scar that develops from the inside of your body, so it's very difficult to affect something inside from the outside. There's no scientific proof that cellulite or stretch mark creams can help improve the appearance of them. For the most part, it's snake oil. Now, massaging is actually known to help improve the appearance of cellulite and stretch marks by just improving microcirculation in the body, but you can literally just do that with a moisturizer in your hands. Like, that's it. In my research, I found that there is some data showing that retinol can have a positive effect by stimulating collagen production, but you don't really need a separate product for that. If you already have a retinol product, just use that on the affected area. Furthermore, in a Huffington Post article, the American Academy of Dermatology suggests that lotions and creams containing at least 0.03% retinol will be most effective, but most don't disclose their percentage on the label. According to Dermstore, that means that the concentration likely falls under 0.25%. So for the Paula's Choice Retinol Skin Smoothing Body Treatment, for example, that only contains 0.01% concentration and therefore won't do pretty much anything to reduce the appearance of dimples. And similarly to cellulite, stretch marks are fine lines or streaks that appear on the skin when it stretches or shrinks rapidly. The abrupt change causes collagen and elastin, which supports our skin, to rupture. They can be reddish or purple at first, and they may be a different texture or color from the surrounding skin. Over time, they can become whitish and scar-like, and they may be slightly depressed. So researchers have actually tested and discovered that most of the stretch mark creams that are on the market do absolutely nothing, and that includes very popular ingredients that are generally considered to be helpful. So for example, studies showed that almond oil, cocoa butter, olive oil, and vitamin E were all shown to have zero effect on the prevention of stretch marks. For stretch marks, there's actually some data that hyaluronic acid and retinol, again, may help prevent stretch marks, but again, you don't necessarily need a separate product if you already have that in your routine. And at this point, most products products that we own for our face contain some form of hyaluronic acid. Generally speaking, researchers agree that when it comes to cellulite and stretch marks, you are better off just keeping that area very moisturized. These are just the products that I came up with. I would love to know, what are some beauty products that you think a lot of people are buying that are just completely unnecessary in our routines? This is just a silly video, so I don't mean to offend anyone who likes these products, but I really just wanted to remind everybody that we can get so sucked in to influencers and marketing of products, and we hear all of these claims, and so often there's just not evidence to back up those claims, and we're better off just saving our money. So I hope that leaves you with a little bit of conscious consumerism to go about your day, and if you made it this far, I really appreciate you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.